Auditory, Member U, and Member Z.
Okay, a quorum of the members is physically present. I'll entertain a motion to permit those members not physically present due to personal illness or disability, employment purposes, or the business of the board, family, or other emergency or unexpected child care obligations to participate by video or teleconference. I have a motion, I think, and a second. Did you get who those were? Great. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome, Member Ozog.
Thank you, Chair.
Moving on to Chairwoman's remarks. I'm going to keep it short and sweet today and have none. You're welcome, Member Z. Comments? No. Okay, great. Other also short and sweet. Can I get approval of the minutes for 25-2102 for the Finance Committee regular meeting for Tuesday, August 26, 2025? We got a motion by Member Heather, second by Member Evans. Any discussion on this? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving into budget transfers, may I get a motion to please approve FIR 014725 budget transfers 090925 for various companies and accounting units? We've got a motion by Vice Chair Cahill, second by Member Honig. Any discussion on these items, or this item? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no procurement requisitions. Moving on to human services.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on 25-2104, HSP 004-0B24, amendment to contract 74310001 serve, excuse me, issued to Healthy Air Heating and Air Inc. to provide mechanical and architectural weatherization labor and materials for the weatherization department to increase encumbrance in the amount of $40,000 for a new contract total not to exceed $956,434.
A motion by Member Schwarzy, second by Member Heather. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I move on HSP 004525, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Prescription Supply Inc. for secondary pharmaceuticals for the DuPage Care Center Pharmacy for the period September 10th, 25 through September 9th, 26 for a contract total amount not to exceed $30,000.
Got a motion by Member Schwarzy, second by Member Evans. Good morning, everybody. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Going on to, thank you, Member Schwarzy. Moving on to judicial and public safety and Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on JPSP-36-25, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Insight Public Sector, Inc. for computers and other small IT equipment for the clerk of the circuit court for the period of September 9th, 2025 through September 8th, 2026 for a total contract amount of $88,206.
A motion by Member Evans, second by Member Zay. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on JPSR-12-25, recommendation for the approval of an amendment to an agreement between Stellar Services and the County of DuPage to provide various commissary services to inmates for the Sheriff's Office to extend the contract to January 2nd, 2026 for a contract total of $0.
A motion by Member Evans, second by Member Covert. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to Public Works, and Member Childers is not here. The Vice Chair is Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FMCO 4-25, amendment to county contract issued to Allied Valve, provide testing, repair, and recertify safety relief valves for the boilers at the power plant for facilities management. Increase the change order amount to $55,000, resulting in amended contract amount of $82,660.
Okay, motion by Member Zay, second by Member Covert. Any discussion on this item? And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on PWP 25-25, approval and agreement between the County of DuPage and Robinson Engineering on-call professional engineering design services for various county water and wastewater systems from September 9th, 2025 to November 30th, 2028. Contract not to exceed $95,000.
Got a motion by Member Zay, second by Member Heather. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Member Zay, and going on to Member Zay.
Madam Chair, Move on SMP 18-25, approve a contract issued to the Conservation Foundation for professional education services from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026. The amount not to exceed $77,000.
Motion by member Zay, second by member Galassi. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on SMP 19-25, approve a contract issued to Hoyer Construction for the 90th and K Drainage Improvement Project for stormwater management from September 9th, 2025 through November 30th, 2025. Contract not to exceed $30,845,000 per lowest responsible bid.
Motion by member Zay, second by Vice Chair Cahill. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, I move on SMP 20-25, approve a contract issued to Azteca Systems for asset management software license for stormwater management, public works, and the Division of Transportation from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2027. Contract amount not to exceed $162,436.10. This is the sole source provider.
We got a motion by member Zay, second by member Heather. Any discussion on this item? All in favor then?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And please
Thank
note
you,
that we had
Madam
member Tornatore and member Childers. Moving on to technology and member Cover.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Entertain a motion on TEP 01125, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Gartner Inc. for one subscription for executive programs, leadership team leader, and one subscription for executive program leadership team advisor member for information technology for the period of October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026 for a contract total amount of $156,908, contract pursuant to the Intergovernmental Cooperation Act.
Okay, we got a motion by, I believe, member Desart. Is there a second? Second by member Schwarzy. Thank you. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, member Covert. Moving on to transportation, and we've got member Ozog online.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for approval of DTP 004425, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to ComEd to provide electric services as needed for the Division of Transportation for the 4-year period of October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2029, for a contract total not to exceed $526,000, public utility.
Motion by member Ozog, second by member Heather. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTR 002925, intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the County of Cook for Elgin O'Hare I-390 corridor enhancements, section DuPage County to be reimbursed $55,236.60.
Motion by member Ozog, second by member Zay. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, member Ozog.
Thank you.
And Vice Finance Resolutions, and I turn it over to Vice Chair Cahill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for approval on FIR 0137-25, acceptance and appropriation of the Adult Redeploy Illinois Program Grant, Program Year 26, Intergovernmental Agreement, Accounting Unit 6192, in the amount of $429,853, probation and court services.
Got a motion by Vice Chair Cahill, second by member Galassi. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I move for approval on FIR 0138-25, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Voter Registration Systems Grant, Program Year 26, Company 5,000, in the amount of $577,123, County Clerk Election Division. Thank you. I move.
Wait. Okay, motion by member Cahill, second by member Galassi. Any discussion on this item? Okay, all in favor? Aye. No.
Thank you. I move to
Okay.
amend.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I move to amend item 8B's attachment to delete account number 4220 and replace with the correct account number 0000. The amendment is printed at your seats.
Second by member LaPlante. Member Evans, sorry. Okay, everybody in favor of that?
Aye.
Okay,
So I move to approve FIR 0138.25 as amended.
okay. Motion to, by Vice Chair Cahill, second by Member Evans for the amendment. All, any discussion on that? All in favor then? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I move for approval on FIR 0139-25, authorization to establish the County Automation Fund and authorization to transfer and appropriate up to, but not to exceed $60,000 in additional funds from the Recorder Document Storage Fund to the County Automation Fund for fiscal year 2025.
Motion by Vice Chair Cahill, second by Member Heather. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move for approval on FIR 0140-25, additional appropriation for the Veterans Assistance Commission Fund, Company 4500, Accounting Unit 5851, in the amount of $92,352.
Motion by Vice Chair Cahill, second by Member Evans. Any discussion on this item? Member Sark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was wondering, it says additional appropriation, and I looked through the packet. I couldn't see what the original figure was. So this is additional to what? Nobody knows. Okay. My other question is, what does this cover? I see a PACE expenditure in the package, but I wonder what else this covers. No answer. Okay. And then much
Okay.
like the federal cuts.
I'm
to food
waiting for the
insecure-
answer. They're coming up.
Okay, thank you. So again, my first question is, it's an additional appropriation, so I'm wondering what the original figure was. That was just my first question.
Okay, we're gonna give him a second to get that information. in.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. And then while you're, getting the information, what does it cover? I see PACE, but that's all I saw that it covers. And then I was wondering, much like the federal cuts to the food insecure, et cetera, I'm wondering if the county will need to invest more funds for our veterans in future, if you see that on the horizon. That's it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Member Sark, and we'll get those answers for you as soon as possible. Okay, go ahead. Okay,
It's for the PACE Transit Program expense under the Veterans Administration Fund, specific fund. And then for indirect cost reimbursements, which is charges for human resources, finance, IT in particular. So that those costs needed to be added to the budget. So they have money set aside under the Veterans Assistance Commission. So we're just allocating this now within the 2025 budget.
Okay, it's allocated to PACE, IT, what else?
It's allocated to the PACE Transit Program.
Okay,
And then for indirect costs, which are mostly IT charges to help support, they help support the Veterans Assistance Program.
okay. So just those two things?
Yeah.
Okay, and thank you, Jeff. What was the original allocation?
Their total budget, $728,921.
Okay, so say it again?
Their total budget for 2025 for the Veterans Assistance Program was $728,921.
Okay, we're adding 92,300.
That's correct.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, Chair.
okay. Thank you for coming up. Appreciate it. Okay. Other question by Member Yu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So you had said that this was actually coming from this fund, so it's not coming from general funds or any other, it's not a transfer or anything like that. This is just specifically from this fund itself.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion on this item? All in favor then? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to discharge the Economic Development Committee with regards to agenda items 8E, FIR 0141-25, 8F, FIR 0142-25, 8G, FIR 0143-25, 8H FIR 0145-25, and 8I FIR 0146-25.
Okay, a motion to discharge 8E through 8I. There was a second by member you, actually. Any discussion on discharging these? Member A.
Yeah, thank you. Is there a reason this didn't go through committee? That, I mean, it's pretty big amounts that this couldn't go through.
Lisa Shavak is online to answer that question.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it. I just wondered why this would have been something for committee to handle and then send us instead of discharge.
Is Lisa online?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
The reason why members A is basically this is our full allocation for the year, and the timelines, DCO did not get it to us in a timely fashion. The funds actually start effective July 1. And so as soon as we were able to get it, gain access and appropriate these dollars, we wanted to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on combining these items? Okay, all in favor then? Aye. Any opposed? Those items are combined.
Thank you. So I move for approval on FIR 0141-25, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Grant, Program Year 25, intergovernmental agreement in the amount of $6,140,333, workforce development.
Keep going. You read them all.
Sorry. FIR 0142-25, approval of issue.
Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought also combined. Vice Chair, you're correct. I apologize. Yes. There is a motion by Vice Chair Cahill, second by Mayor Galassi. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Continue.
Move for approval on FIR 0142-25, approval of issuance of payments by DuPage County to training providers and youth contracts through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, Grant Program Year 25, intergovernmental agreement in the amount of $3,425,380, Workforce Development Division.
Okay, got a motion by Vice Chair Cahill, second by member you. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I move for approval on FIR 0143-25, acceptance and appropriation of additional funding for the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Grant Program Year 25, intergovernmental agreement in the amount of $150,000, Workforce Development Division.
Yeah, motion by Vice Chair Cahill, second by member you. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I move for approval on FIR 0145-25, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Apprenticeship Expansion Grant, Program Year 25, intergovernmental agreement in the amount of $95,000, Workforce Development Division.
Moved by Vice Chair Cahill, second by member Heather. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I move for approval on FIR 0146-25, approval of issuance of payments by DuPage County to training providers through the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Apprenticeship Expansion Grant, Program Year 25, in the amount of $33,000, Workforce Development Division.
There is a motion by Vice Chair Cahill, second by member you. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor then? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And finally, I move on FIR 0148-25, authorization of contract with Policemen's Benevolent Labor Committee, Local 501, Human Resources.
Motion by Vice Chair Cahill, a second by member Zay. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. I move to receive and place on file payment of claims, county board resolutions, and bid notifications.
Okay, there's a motion to place and receive and place on file information for A, B, C, C. And there was a second by member Evans. Any discussion on these items? All in favor of receiving and placing on file?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Those are received, placed on file. Thank you, Vice Chair Keel. And then we move on to our discussion. And this is regarding the county radio replacements. We've got Linda Zerwin here from ETSB. Any questions? I think she's going to do a little bit of a blurb, but then any questions we have regarding this? Oh, Nick's coming up first.
Hello. So Director Zerwin will give you about an hour and a half presentation on this. I just wanted to give a kickoff, and I'll turn it over to Director Zerwin on this one. What we're here today is a consideration for radio replacement for several departments within the county. It's timely for the fact of Director Zerwin has negotiated a 42% discount from current pricing for these new radios. You've got some time. If you don't want to move forward, we do have time, but it is very timely if we do get on the order that she's placing for the other fire and police districts across the county. So she will go through it, and then at the end, we'll figure out what the will of the board is.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's 47% discount, but but that's okay. There you go. We're working on it. So this is really a business opportunity, and it's strictly business. I approached the departments that were involved. In 2022, we did a contract for approximately 38 million to replace end of life, end of support radios that were coming up in the program. They had lasted us about 15 years. I did have one question today. Let me clarify one thing. End of life means that that Motorola stops selling that brand. End of support means when they stop servicing it. So end of support for the radios we're talking about today is in 2030. So it's a business decision of whether you want to replace those radios today at a 47% discount at contract pricing from 2022, or you can wait till 2030, but I won't have the volume, the county won't have the volume discount at that point because the rest of the radios won't be ready to be replaced. And we won't know what the pricing is from any manufacturer, even if you chose not to go to Motorola. So that's really the question, or why we brought this forward. And I discussed it with Nick based on economics, the budget that you're seeing, and where you would be between now and then. I've given you a memo. I apologize I wasn't here last time to answer these questions. And I gave you the background that the ETS board will be discussing on their purchase orders. Those are rounding out what we call the cash or extra radios. Moving to the Apex Next, which we didn't do, and in hindsight, maybe we should have, will allow a lot of better maintenance and swapping if something breaks in the jail, which are the radios that you pay for probation and the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. That makes it the swap much quicker than with the 4000s, because those you would have to buy, and we don't really keep a stock on those. So there's a couple of fleet management things that benefit us as well. With the memo, I'm here to answer any questions that you might have based on the financial aspects.
We got Member Galassi first.
Thank you. And I definitely understand the appeal to this. A few questions. So you said they're being serviced until 2030. Are they under warranty until that year?
Yes, we carry a full warranty on all of our products. The challenge becomes once they stop selling something, they also stop manufacturing replacement parts. And with the 7000 series, which is what we're replacing, we do run into finding replacement parts, the top assemblies and things like that. You can do third-party vendor replacement parts if you want to. So there is that option to carry them further.
Okay. And then, so you said the end of service is 2030. What is the end of life on them now?
Now.
Okay. Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Vice Chair Keegan?
I support this. So it makes complete sense to me, a 47% reduction discount from current pricing. This is really significant. And with the way technology changes all the time, the end of life now means that this is the time, in my mind, to make this move. And I'm sure that's why you explored and went out and got the discounted pricing. So I don't want to patch together for another till 2030, things that break and we can't find the parts and we have a problem and it impacts our communication. So I 100% support this.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Cahill. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With these new radios, what's the extended life on those?
Approximately 10 years. There's no end of life listed yet for these products, so you get roughly 8 to 10 years before they'll make that end of life, and then it's generally 5 years after for support.
So by
Generally,
doing this, we're gonna gain 5 years.
correct.
That's it. And why can't ETSB pay for this?
The FCC says that ETSB cannot pay. It's specifically listed in their findings, the most recent findings a year ago, September, that jail radios are not an allowable cost for 911 surcharge. The lane of ETSB is from the initiation of the 911 call till a first responder goes 23 or it arrives on the scene. So that's the lane. And since the jail is not a 911 dispatched event or activity, it doesn't qualify. I would like it to. Before the FCC made this ruling in 2010, when we did the first purchase, we did pay for the jail radios.
So possibly that'd be a nice thing for legislation to get that changed. Since I guess they go out and get it, but what do you do when you bring the bad guys back here? I guess they're not responsible for that, or just let them go.
Well, the state of Illinois did some work to expand the use of the surcharge that was overridden rather by the FCC last September, and it narrowed the scope back down by being specific.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussions on this? Member you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, Linda. Thanks for
Morning.
being here. So these radios, they came to ETSB like in 2021 or in 2022?
22.
Okay. So we're already looking to replace these. And when would we get these in hand and start using them?
Assuming the ETS board approves their change order in October, that's what we're shooting for an agenda item. We're finalizing some other equipment. It would be 6 to 8 weeks from this receipt of the purchase order or the
So-
change order in this case for the contract.
So in 2025 then?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So is it typical that we replace radios 3 years, in the span of 3 years' time?
No, we didn't. The goal of the police and fire agencies in 2006 was to have an interoperable radio system. It took us to 2009, 2010 to do the contract and bring all the communications together under the statewide STARCOM system. And those radios have lasted us 15 years. So this is just a business opportunity. I also think the cycle for radios has changed a little bit because of technology. The radios you're looking to replace also have LTE. They have radio frequency, but they also are capable of doing cellular. So it's adds a little bit of enhancement to the jail coverage as well.
My last question is for the implementation of these new radios, there's training involved and that kind of thing. So will there be a big training period or lag time? Just because I know before with the APS Next, there was a long training period and I don't know if it was completed.
It shouldn't be that much different from there are some features available on these radios that the jail doesn't have today, or probation, or the Office of Homeland Security does use some of these radios, so they're familiar with it. And the training, the security system for the security group, it would be new training. There's complete training slides for all agencies that they've seen before, so probably a day or two to get used to it.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? I have one quick question. Since these were just 2022, you said you got these, correct? So if we get these in 2025, maybe you said this and I don't remember because I'm having that morning. When would we have to purchase new things or new radios in your estimate?
All things going well, I would say 10 to 15 years.
Okay, so this would be a much longer stretch then before
Correct.
we'd have to purchase again.
If you didn't do this today, you could take them to 2030, which would be almost 8 years, 10 years. So you could push this. You would just have to buy something in 2030 where we wouldn't have the volume discounts and we wouldn't know the pricing. And this is 2022 contract pricing at a 47% discount. And in the memo, you noted that Motorola's raised those prices 2 times already. So with the trade agreements and things like that, I really, if I had a crystal ball, I'd buy a lottery ticket too. But, you know, I don't know what pricing would be in 2030, which is the reason that Nick and I discussed this and brought it to you for consideration.
Thank you. Nick, you want to add something?
So the decision you have would, the total cost we're talking is 1.88. What's not included in that, which is another side benefit that we don't know the benefit, will be that we will have the ability to resell what these older ones. And we're estimating conservatively 116,000 for resale. Clearly, we will pursue the best deal we can, and that money will also come back into the general fund when our old radios are resold. That would go away theoretically if we did wait till 2029, 2030, that opportunity would no longer be there. So if the committee would like to move forward, what we would likely have to move forward at the next finance and board with a transfer of 1.88 million to allow Director Zerwin to bring it to ETS board, then October, and then we would be part of that purchase price.
So we're looking here today for a consensus from the board on how we'd like to
move forward. In 4 weeks.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry, Mary Oza, Vice Chair, no, not Vice Chair, Member Oza. Yeah, you're on mute, Mayor, Member Oza.
Sorry. I agree with Member Cahill, but especially in light of what Nick just said about supply chain and what's going on with, I'll use the T word, with tariffs, et cetera, because we have no idea what kind of pricing might be available when we need to do this in the future. So I think it really seems like a great benefit now, especially with the buying in bulk discount. 47% is really significant. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Member Oza. Next I have Member Honig and then members.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Director Zerwin. I 100% agree. I think that we need to do this now. And my question was going to be, what is the resale value of the old radios? And I think you said 116,000.
That's what we have conservatively estimated at this point.
Okay. I think that is an extreme benefit to us, especially if we lose that benefit going forward. And kind of to Mary Ozog's point is that, you know, especially with the vehicle buying too, and we saw, you know, that and how long it takes just to get vehicles. I'm afraid with the supply chain issues that could happen with radios too down the line. So I definitely am 100% agreement in a consensus today with moving forward with this. And I just want to thank you for your work and you know, negotiating a good deal. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Honig. Member to start.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate your efforts on this. Couple of questions. Just remind me, in 2022, when we bought radios, was that was ARPA funded, right?
It was also funded, you mean by the board?
Yeah.
Yes, so the radios that we're talking about replacement was also general fund cost, yes.
Okay, so and my second question is, Nick, you said transfer from
We
where?
would take it from contingency.
Contingency.
2025 contingency, you have $4.1 million in contingency.
Okay, thank you. I too am in support of this expenditure.
Thank you, Member to start. Okay, any other questions on this before I take a consensus? Okay, those in favor of moving the money from contingencies to fund the radios, raise your hand. That looks like it's fairly unanimous, I think. I think you have your direction. Thank you, Director Zerwin. Okay. Is there any old business anyone would like to discuss? Any new business anyone would like to discuss? Then without objection.